Is he talking about the overly provocative Wolf contract, the disloyal hoe? Well, look,
Well, I
maybe.
think I think the wolf
What do you
contract
think?
will never come on my channel
Oh
because
shit, I can fix that. No, no, no.
because
Wolfie is a brave wolf.
but do you know that I actually tried few times and he was very kind and very respectful to me when I was starting with the when the Juno launched. The wolf contract was
Mhm.
the first person I approached for the interview, and he was
Really?
actually up for it. He was very kind and very respectful, and he ghosted me.
And
I,
he ghosted you. Listen,
but
well, I can
but
explain
but but
a
but
lot of the ghostings, okay,
he
by any
ghosted me
crypto.
because he was busy. I
Yeah,
respect that.
yeah,
It's
very good.
fine. I don't get
Yeah,
offended. I don't get
mhm.
offended. Like it's
Good,
fine.
good.
I was ghosted few times because I understand crypto people are very busy. Other time the Jack Zampolin, who I really like, ghosted me too, and it's like fine. It's like they are busy.
Well,
They work.
the ghostings happen because we're busy, and in fact, I'm kind of busy today, but I'm here, and I want to tell you why. Oh God, I'm having such camera issues today. I'm here because this one's really very important. There is no precedent for this, and like, yeah, I've been involved since Prop 4, and I don't know, maybe if we're just going to keep with the theme of extreme, uncomfortable transparency, right? Let's go into the history of Prop 4. So I was encouraged to
Wait, like,
be.
sorry for stopping you. So yeah, Wolf was very kind, very honest. Um, but after this prop, he came out as the very sensitive person to me.
Hey. Hey, I feel sensitive too. If I were him. Also, he fucked up. Okay.
Oh, so bad, so horrible,
Yeah.
horrible. Oh,
No, it's not that bad.
and he say,
That's
I
not
didn't
that
do anything
bad.
wrong. I did all that's best.
Oh, well,
I did only great
but
things. I have.
no,
There is no not a single bad thing about me. Not a single
well,
one.
listen,
I'm
but I've
perfect.
talked to Wolf. I've talked to Wolf. Wolf doesn't think Wolf is perfect. Okay. Wolf understands that Wolf messed up. Um, and look, I want to go through the history of this. Okay. I want to go full extreme transparency and say that we don't know who deposited who proposed Prop 4. We do know it was me who put the deposit on it. Okay. And I know that I did that because of a combination of factors. Right. One day when I was working at Tendermint, there was this conversation in Slack about, sketch validators. And yeah, let's exit scam came up. Seed phrase farming came up. Seed phrase farming, guys, just in case you don't know, is a practice where a scammer might choose to, well, no, scammer does choose to, maybe clone Jacob's profile picture. And guys, maybe I should update my profile
So
picture to be a
are
giant
you
beard
are you
instead of a
saying,
cat.
Jacob? Are you saying
Mhm.
you are responsible for the spread of the false claims, or at least unproven claims?
Um, Unproven, quite possibly, but I feel it would have been right. Like, okay, you have to think of context here. Okay, we have a conversation where we are definitely talking about a situation where a really, really large holder of Juno proves to be a custodian, which we never ever intended. Okay, and where that really, really large holder of Juno has actually admitted, like, yo, I lied to people. um, so that I wouldn't distribute the Juno when world plus dog, in fact, world and the world's dog. Let me tell you, my only concern about the size of that account was one. Well, there's two, I suppose. One, that's not what we intended in Genesis, and then two, the second concern was the risk to governance, and it's real. Um, I'll toss Takumi/CCN a yo, good job. I guess I'm not voting no. Look, Takumi CCN, I will say,
Beautiful,
they would have been well
beautiful.
within their rights to
That's
do
the
so.
sorry for stopping you. That's what the man does. That's what the man does, choosing abstain. And he could probably got very close to overthrowing this proposal. What a balls! Something I cannot
Yeah,
say
yeah,
about
yeah,
Wolf.
I agree. I agree. Okay.
Something I cannot say
I'm
about
not
Wolf
going to say
contract.
that this is like a no nut loser. Okay. And yes, incognito. I don't know who the hell you are, incognito, but yes, I often speak in a rude fashion. This is totally true, and I'm talking about Takumi's balls, which are likely very big. I'm exactly. Yes. And like, look, the key mistake, in my opinion, that Takumi made is not being fully transparent with the community.
I think the
And,
biggest mistake he made was merging the wallets because
ooh,
if not, that's only
ooh,
one mistake he made. If
maybe,
he would not
maybe.
do it, he would leave with over $100
Uh,
million and no one would ever know.
I don't know. Also, I mean, we have to consider his claims that, oh, I'm perfectly nice, right? So like one of the things that he's claiming is that he always would have distributed that coin to his user community. But we really don't know that's true. It is a claim. And yeah, I mean, okay, you can claim that, but I just don't know if it's fact. Um, and incognito, I have a quick question for you. So you're saying us English speaking people are so rude.
I think he referring to the
How would you commend somebody's bravery in Japanese without? I mean, we usually just talk about the size of their balls. This is true.
what I think incognito probably referring to what Whale said about English speaking users, which is kind
I
of
mean,
like which is very weak. Like let me tell you, because this is I noticed that many Asian cultures do it, like when they feel attacked, or like because it, it's something that works in the Asian culture, that you try to play this emotional game. Or is it your culture? You can do better. Like, is it you English speakers who do it these ways? Which is very like lowball.
oh, come on now.
The
Westerners, listen. Westerners do the exact same thing to every other culture. But here's
okay.
the thing: I think that this is a universal, right? Like I've lived in Africa, and the way I think, right, that was very foreign to the Africans. But I mean, fair game, right? Like, why should somebody expect some dude from Buffalo, New York, think the same way as somebody from Accra, Ghana, right? That's, you know, I am who I am. I've got my background. My thoughts are shaped by, I mean, frankly, guys, I've had a very interesting life. It's been cool. And, leads me to have a lot of diverse opinions. So another thing is, you might not want to just lump me in entirely with, English speakers. I do speak other languages. And I'm not really sure language is the issue. Anyhow, let's dig in here for a second. All right. Why did I mention what occurred on the Tendermint Slack server even when that's a risk to me? Guys, I want to make really clear, like, that was a risky decision because, like, I worked there. I don't really know if it's okay with that team to disclose. I could make people who work there now upset by saying that. Nonetheless, this is true. Okay. And that is, well,
Sorry,
Liam, probably.
I really hate stopping you because people were like
Probably.
complaining that
Go for it. Go for it.
I often stop you. But Liam, the point is that it was unproven, and it does not seem that he is actually stealing. And like, so this is actually the
Well. He stole from his investor, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Whether there was seed phrase farming that's another question. And yes, I said that there were accusations of it. And guess what, guys? Well, I said exactly that. Okay. I said that there had been accusations and that I had seen them. I said nothing more than I knew, and I said everything I knew. I don't have a problem with that. That's the way I choose to operate notional, even when that enhances our risk profile. And guys, like, basically, because if you look at this whole situation, I don't think that there is any clear law on it. I'm aware that some validators have contacted attorneys. I don't blame them for doing so. Notional has attorneys as well, and we consult them when shit gets weird. And guess what? Shit's weird right now, right? And I mean, essentially, all right, I'll share with you guys something that has worked really well for me. Should you ever find yourself in a position of needing to hire an attorney, okay, I want to strongly recommend that you hire two, okay? Two that have opposing points of view. You want to look for attorneys who are well reputed, okay, who do what they do well, and who disagree, okay? Because on any hot button issue, you can definitely find specialists who have strong opinions, and you can also find a specialist who has a strong opinion in the other direction, okay? Now, take what they tell you and make a Venn diagram. And now you've gotten, the closest thing possible to the truth, especially when blockchain legal is just so murky, right? The Venn diagram here that I got, and not just in this case, but also in many, okay, is, this is not clear, okay, as to whether or not, for example, there are legal consequences for validators, the Core 1 team, the Core 2 team. And so, because we get that answer so damn frequently, and it is very frustrating, and I believe that blockchain law has been kept intentionally opaque because, hell no, these are not 1930s style securities, okay? They're not. And the American notion of applying 1930s style securities laws to proof of stake blockchains is insane. It's also immoral, okay? So where does that leave us? Well, I make every decision, and our team makes every decision at Notional. First of all, when I'm faced with these decisions personally, I base it on, well, is this ethical or not? And then secondly, when we have a decision to make that I know can materially impact, Notional on a going forward basis forever, and I've got to tell you that because of the lack of clarity in blockchain law, we face these decisions fairly often. We make them on a like my vote is precisely equal to anyone else's. And yeah, we have disagreed internally. And yeah, that's what happened here with the Core 1 team. And no, I don't see any problem with that. Look, the Core 1 team are all people who've been in cryptocurrency, Cosmos, et cetera, long enough for me to really respect their opinions, okay? And probably I'm approximately there myself as well, in terms of just like having a pretty well-developed set of opinions on how things should work in crypto. And there was, in my opinion, really appropriate disagreement between members of Core 1 on this matter. Like, okay, first of all, Wolfie was probably right to, make this proposal. And then Wolfie was definitely wrong to not have fully consulted the other members of Core 1. And
such a huge ego. It's almost like he needs to go for some trip to Sonoran Desert and try this.
Well, I mean, Shroom Dow will take care of that. Shroom Dow. Actually, Shroom Dao is kind of a joke, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe he needs one of those desert trips. Possible. Anyhow, look, we all kind of have egos. Okay, I mean, Lord knows I do. Jay talks about like having, ego death and such, and I do get his like perspective there. The ego death thing, I've realized what he's talking about is actually just extreme self-doubt. And being willing to like really, really, really rigorously follow the facts. And I think that's also why he was talking about, well, you should try, games of skill. I don't know if you guys know this. Jake Wan was formerly a professional poker player. And that's why the company was called All In Bits, because he went all in with all his Bitcoins.
I didn't know. That's really cool fact. I used to play, not professionally, because I was such a broke ass back in like 2009, and I played the free rolls, and I made my bankroll, and then started playing the poker. It was back then was quite popular, I think now online poker is a little bit less. So that's cool info about him.
Yeah. And like, look, here's another person in Cosmos who is very, very controversial. And Mad Cat, you want me to tell Jay you'll beat him in poker? I think he only does this in person, though, Mad Cat. I mean, if you're down, he may be down. I don't know. I don't know if he's feeling poker these days. His focus on Gano is kind of, let's just say it's very, very impressive. I think that's part of the reason why he left the orgs in the way that he did. Although, look, there was a lot of drama, and he said controversial stuff, and he's a person with strongly held opinions. And I want to say that in this case, I deeply respect Jay, and I deeply respect his detractors too. Well, Liam, the story is that.
Go and check his Twitter, and you will find out.
Yeah, Liam, I think that's actually best. Liam, you should look at Jay's Twitter. He's controversial because he does not hold back his opinion, and also probably because he really designs software very effectively. So effectively that I've referred to Tendermint and other blockchain software as weapons. And I've called blockchain engineers arms dealers. Guys, that is how effective this software is at accomplishing its aims. I don't mean like, it's going to be used to kill people, right? What I mean is that actually it falls more on the protecting side of weaponry. A Cosmos chain. Mm-hmm.
Takumi just followed me on Twitter.
Hell yeah! Well, invite him. I mean, look, guys, just before this call,
I don't think he speak. I actually don't think he could be good at the conversation.
I tried to get. Well, why don't you send him a message and tell him like Jacob is trying to hire an interpreter?
But continue with the Jake one. I will.
All right. Well, I mean, just continuing on with that. All right. Jay said a bunch of, I mean, honestly, I'd say a little bit ill-advised and potentially simply crazy stuff. Might have referred to himself as Jesus a whole bunch around at the time that he exited Tendermint. But I mean, here's the thing. I just spoke with Jack the other day. I was saying perhaps I don't read Prop 16 because of my, and Jay, I mean this quite literally, my autism. And anybody who Googles me thoroughly is going to find, I mean, I personally have very literally had mental health problems. And because of those, I'm almost like pretty much lucky to be alive.
I know this, like actually people were sending me stuff about you, the stuff that is not necessarily good. I never brought it up. Because...
Listen, I don't mind. Okay. In fact, if you want to take 10 minutes, I'm real happy.
By the way, I want to stop. I'm on SSRIs.
Okay.
Like not,
yeah.
might not look, but I am. Yeah.
I take modafinil and lithium, and it's lithium in particular improved my life dramatically. Guys, whole audience, I went psychotic in 2017. And what that actually means, like from a technical sense, you don't know where you are. You don't really know what you're doing. I didn't. Okay. When I was in jail after stealing the truck, and audience, if you Google Jacob Gadakian truck, you can see that.
In Cambodia, yeah.
Yeah, there's only one thing that's not true about that story, which is the story says that I'm on drugs, newspaper story, and a bunch of other stuff. And audience, I'll tell you very freely, I've taken every drug there is. Just the thing is, that time I hadn't taken drugs in 2 months. I also don't take drugs anymore. And like that's, I think, been a really, really huge improvement in my life. And I'll also say that people with bipolar disorder, right, about half of us take drugs. And I can also say that bipolar is real. The reason I can say that, right? Because some people will say, like, oh, well, you know, this doesn't even exist. It's not a real thing. Guys, so like I thought, and very, very sincerely and very thoroughly, okay, that I needed to steal transportation so that I could drive to China, so that I could join a shadowy international gang, so that I could write software in Rust, so that I could save the world. Okay. And I thought this extremely severely, all right, for 3 months. That includes after returning to the United States and until I had taken lithium for 3 days. Now, on the third day, this is one of the most bizarre things that have ever happened. So imagine you believe all that like it's real, okay? Imagine you really, really think that. Well, I did, okay? So I thought all of that. And
so you did not have good response to other drugs at the...
I never tried other drugs.
Okay.
I never tried any other medication for mental health because I didn't think I had a mental health problem. And people told me that I did. Like at that time, that time in my life is actually when I met Jay Kwan. That time in my life, like I met Jay like mid-16, okay? And I was building this thing called Dawn, and you can go and look at it, and it's on GitHub, all right? And it was kind of like a replacement to Steam because I thought that there were some serious problems in the consensus mechanism. I personally believe that those problems are related to some of the problems that the community had in Steam, in Hive, and in Blurt, which is the Steam fort that I personally contribute a lot of time and energy toward. So, all right, I go and do that. We began to get traction. And guys, I descended into madness. Okay. I was crappy to the Dawn team. I was crappy to our supporters. And now here's the thing. Here's how I know, oh, wait, I must have actually had a mental health problem and lithium must help me. So after 3 days of being in a mental hospital in Buffalo, New York, after stealing a truck in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, having the truck driver, God bless him and his family, say, oh no. I guess like at some point while I was insane, and you guys are going to keep in mind, memories from a period of insanity are not real good. I guess he came to see me, the owner of the truck that I stole, and said that I had suffered enough and was clearly crazy. I still don't know who this person is. I have tried to find out. If anybody can find out, it'd be delightful. I've failed every single time. I want to thank him, and a lot, because this person probably saved my life. I probably would have died in Cambodia, in jail, because I was insane. When I was in jail for a bit, I thought that the guard was Kim Jong-un because he was fat. And I don't know exactly how this happened to this day, okay? But basically the truck driver said, no, I don't want to press charges. This guy has enough problems. After that, I was taken, I think, by the USM. No, it was by the team at the mental health center that I went to in Cambodia. Okay. And there they tried every emergency combination of psychiatric drugs that you can imagine on me. And I was still quite nuts. And so they ended up, and this is common in psych cases, they ended up basically just putting me on tons and tons and tons and tons of downers. Okay. They got me on an airplane and took me home. From the Buffalo, New York airport, I went to the Erie County Medical Center, where once again, and guys, when I talk about being the luckiest person in the world, this is why. Statistically speaking, I should probably be dead. I believe bullets were fired at me in that truck. I don't blame the cops who fired the bullets. I was behaving in a very, very dangerous fashion. Not only that, rocks that could have killed me were thrown at me in the truck. Rock throwers, I don't blame you. Okay. And I get to Buffalo, New York. I remember the intake nurse at Erie County Medical Center saying, well, you have bipolar. This is pretty common, but like, you really, really need to take some lithium. And I'm like, but my friend takes lithium and he's crazy. Right. And, well, I did. I felt way better after 3 days. And what I mean by way better, actually, I felt terrible. Okay. Reason I felt terrible is I realized that, one, I really did think that I should steal transportation and drive to China for, no apparent reason. Right. And then two, I acted on that. And then three, oh wait, they've been, more or less forcing this medication on me for 3 days. And wait, I realized none of that was true. Oh boy. Right. So it felt terrible, but the outcome was really, really good. I guess my whole point is that I've seen this kind of stuff in just about everybody who works in this space. And yeah, like lots of people have or do use drugs. And I'm not pointing blame. When I used drugs, I just want to say I didn't feel awful when I did. And that's why I did. And I don't anymore, and that's because every single day I get to wake
By
up.
drugs, you mean the illegal substances, or
Yeah, I mean
medication?
illegal drugs. I still take drugs. I take lithium and modafinil, but they're not illegal. But yeah, I took every single illegal, all of them. Basically because when I was in another state, I felt better, right? And I also want to say that, like, I suppose it's somewhat reasonable that people do use this stuff to attack me. But the thing is, I think those attacks lose their validity when I just speak about this stuff in a very frank and direct manner. Because a lot of people, including really successful people, do have these problems. And like, if I were like, oh no, I didn't go crazy and steal a truck, well, that'd be another story, right? But that's, not the situation. I recognize I did that. I recognize it was super wrong. And I'm really grateful to it was a series of doctors, plus the truck driver, plus my wife, who basically kept me alive through that. I genuinely do think I would have died in jail. Because I was nuts, right? I was doing all kinds of not sensible things. Should I have gone to jail? Probably yes. I stole a giant, huge truck and, rode it around, and the truck drivers, the truck owners, their absolutely merciful choice is probably why I'm here. That's huge. And I appreciate that, NE, but at the same time, Let's appreciate the position of, say, like notionals delegators, or like every investor who's ever invested in a project of mine since, um, who have to weigh like my health into their decisions. And so when people ask me about it, as opposed to like attacking me on it, I have no problem with that. Of course, they're different things. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, zinger! I'm going to bring up the truck thing on Twitter publicly," and that. Yeah, I think that's wrong, pretty much immoral. But then again, I don't know. Everybody can question it once, and I'll happily explain it to them because I'm a very lucky person.
May
It's
I
incredible.
speak?
Was that?
May I speak?
Yeah. Please do.
I saw this article, right? And it was like presented, it was by one of the viewers, and presented like in the like that it would prove that maybe you are a bad person or something like this. And I watched the video and I'm like, this person has psychotic episode. Like you didn't know what's going on around you, like that. And that
Yeah.
was like that was funny. My first reaction was like, oh, that's funny, because that's funny. Like, let's not
I'm so glad. I'm so
Great.
glad you see that too. Because guys,
Like, it's
people
funny. I
sometimes,
literally
"Oh, I
was like,
shouldn't laugh about it," but I do laugh about it. Okay.
yeah, like you need to understand the people who are like the stuff that people who are nuts do is funny,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
also unfunny in the other
Well,
manner.
hell yeah, it was unfunny. It was tragic. Like for me, for my family. Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah,
My dad was having health problems at the time, and like it was very, very challenging. Right. At the same time, if you look at that whole thing and you don't laugh, possibly you don't have a sense of humor.
yeah.
I look at the
That
whole
would be
thing and I'm
something
just like,
wrong if you.
I get to be alive. I get to be
Yeah.
alive. Woohoo!
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
And like no one should really look for any sort of the common sense in people who have mental illness, because many people try to seek like, oh, like, but that could be explained this way or this way. No, it cannot. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, no,
It
that
absolutely
just, I mean,
doesn't
it
make
just didn't
sense.
make
So
sense. Who would do that? Like,
I
I could have at any time called anybody I knew, right? But I was very paranoid, right? I thought like the man was coming to get me. But at any time in that entire thing, I could have asked anyone, "Yo, can I use your phone?" and gotten a hold of friends or family and like gotten myself right. But I felt that I couldn't. I felt that if I did that, they would get me.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. You're bringing it up. Like, I never had bipolar. I only get depressed. Like, that's only. But it's not that I'm getting sad. It's like last time it was like I'm convinced I'm dying, and I get like my teeth hurt me, my nails hurt me. I'm losing weight. I eat very little. Then like that was my symptom basically, and I'm scared of nights. That was basically me. Like, it's not tragic. I don't do dumb stuff, but I was irrational thinking.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
we did went off a little bit from the main subject. I believe
I
we
think we did. Yeah. I suppose that part of it is just that, like,
it was about
well,
Jake One, because you were saying about being the certain way, and you
yeah,
have to
yeah, yeah.
understand these people, because I would assume maybe I don't know, I don't want to judge, maybe Jake One has his own problems, but if
Oh,
someone
Jay, well,
has
I've never spoken to Jay about anything like that. But what I can say is that Jay does not think like a normal person.
yeah
But I can say that about just about everybody that I work on these blockchain systems with, including my staff. I
mhm,
don't know exactly why it is, okay? But like the people who are attracted to this kind of work, we don't think normal. And well, there you go, Liam. Yeah, that's a bit about my background. Um, and like, so you wouldn't want to exactly expect that we act normal. Um, Anyhow, I guess what I'm saying is, Jay's opinion carries a lot of weight with me, as does the design of the code. So I do believe that in Cosmos we have like there was a fracture. and it was real. It also might have been good because of the robustness of the network design. So, Jay said and did a bunch of rather inadvisable stuff. A lot of engineers left Tendermint. And they went in there, started their own things, and eventually Jay did that as well. And I joined Tendermint as a part of an initiative called Virgo, which I think it's fair to say it kind of failed, which Sonny thinks may have been about meta governance. And guys, did you notice that we're literally talking about all of us trying to interpret one another's thoughts because we work in a highly, highly abstract space? And this is just fact, right? Like, we do our best with communication, but most of us don't actually work in the same place. I've met Jay exactly once, and I mean it was a 3-second handshake. Everything else was phone calls and messages. Should you watch this? You might not even remember it. It was in New York City at the Cornell Blockchain Conference. So, I mean, these are just some challenges, but that's kind of why we're building the software. In my opinion, Cosmos is chiefly about coordination, about helping, large groups of people work with one another at scale and sustainably as well. I recently had a, big old argument-y poo with Ethan Bookman about fees on osmosis. And
I saw that, yeah.
You saw that, okay. Well, what I definitely want to say is I've met Ethan in for longer than 30 seconds. I think he's great. I think Informal's work is great. I might disagree on the fee part, but probably the most impressive accomplishment that we've had in Cosmos is creating a framework where all of these different highly opinionated people can disagree without, losing everything. And let's jump back to whale for a second. Well, one of our,
this jump, it will be really good because you said for Jake 1, the death of ego is, what was it?
For Jake 1, what I think is the death of ego, extreme self-doubt, right? You want to be incredibly, incredibly fact-driven.
Okay, and here we are. For Jake 1, the death of ego is extreme self-doubt, and you want to be extreme fact-checker.
Yep.
And considering this, I had to vote no with veto on the Prop 16.
Gotcha.
Because this fact-checking was too messed up, and I couldn't vote yes because the arguments that were used there seemed to be highly manipulative. And this is how was based my decision, despite the fact that initially I voted yes on the proposal 16. But actually the whale sent me 2,000 Juno, so.
Did he?
I wish.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I wish so too, but I still probably would have voted same. In fact, I probably would have used that as had that occurred, right? I would have been like, look, I was given this. And again, this just comes down to being highly, highly fact-driven. So if we're highly fact-driven, we can look at Ethan and Informal Systems' contributions to Cosmos is absolutely essential. Especially, look, I'll jump off into computer science for a second, and I'll jump off into thinking about weird stuff. Liam, that is my opinion. And that's actually why I voted yes. I didn't agree with all the wording, and I agreed with the outcome. Nothing more. So to give you a little insight into what Informal Systems is all about and why their name is a little bit of a play on words, just like Notional, actually, because Notional doesn't exist. Informal Systems has led research work in a thing called formal verification. Formal verification is a set of techniques which I do not understand personally, that allows you to ensure that software does exactly what it says it does. When I met Ethan in Toronto, he yammered on to me in the excited way that engineers yammer on about TLA plus. How, Jacob, I'm hiring this team of people to do this thing called TLA plus. Oh, you don't know what that is? Oh my God, it's the best thing ever. It's how we make sure that the software is correct. And here's the thing. I know that the TLA plus formal verification that was used on the Tendermint consensus mechanism, and it brought benefits to it. I also know that the TLA plus formal verification mechanism was used on the IBC mechanism and brought benefits to it. And now, for both of those, we have more formal specs, which is going to allow those to be implemented in other languages, which, guys, get ready. It's big. See how I'm doing this? But I'm not doing this because Nancy Pelosi does that, and it's scary.
Is the flies?
But
The flies.
yeah. Oh my God, it was so scary. It was freaky because he's talking about like, oh, anyway. But I'm doing this because it's exciting. Guys, we're gonna IBC into substrate chains soon, into the Polkadot ecosystem. Huge amount of work behind this, but people, look, right now 100% of chains that can use IBC use Cosmos and Tendermint, okay? And IBC was created to be a generalized protocol. That was the goal the whole time. And if you look at github.com/strangeloveventures/relayer, a very, very exciting little pull request in there that actually what it does is it will allow IBC to happen between a Cosmos chain and a Polkadot chain. And guys, this is the definition of victory for IBC and for Cosmos, in my opinion. What's driving this is demand from people who built chains using Substrate to do interchain interaction without rules and taxes. And the Polkadot ecosystem, hey, Patrick, I'm glad to hear you like it. The Polkadot ecosystem, well, what they do is they have this thing called a slot auction. Now imagine, I'll describe Osmosis, but if it had slot auctions, okay? So what Osmosis would look like if it had slot auctions is that, first of all, there's only 100 slots, okay? And then secondly, Osmosis, to boost the value of Osmo, would be auctioning those slots off. And that's how DOT works. And that's why I'm a DOT critic. And I want everybody to know I'm not a critic of their technology. It's actually really, really good. I am a critic of their economic design. And I'm really happy to see IBC being extended to that community. The more chains that we add native IBC to, the more Cosmos wins. And the thing is, Cosmos was never about Cosmos winning. And this is how we get into arguments about the hub. So that's why the hub is currently neutral and does not have a whole lot of features on it, right? Is because, well, our victory was blockchains speaking directly to one another, and it wasn't ever anything else. We seem to have done that. Also, I mentioned Polkadot. I did not mention that it's not only the Go Relayer team at Strangelove Ventures working on Polkadot and Substrate support. It's also the Hermes team. Looks like we're going to have...
It's surprising because Jan Zampolin was always like quite poking fun at Polkadot. And
as he should.
Yeah.
but not for technological reasons. And I
Yeah.
doubt he ever did poke fun at them for
Mhm.
technological reasons. He poked fun at them for making the easy path to moon, as I would as well. Okay. So I poke fun at Polkadot because, yeah, at that time there was definitely an easy choice. Okay. And the easy choice was to limit your interchain functionality to, you know, my friends. Who are my friends? My friends are the people who pays me, right? But that's not how it works in Cosmos. And yeah, that decision led to years of additional engineering work. In fact, let me just say I do believe that I've heard from Jack, Jay, Alessio, Zaki, Pung, and Ethan Bookman. Okay, so what I'm saying is, and guys, if I'm missing any, any key person from the early days, please just assume that your name is on the list, because I assume that you also agree with this. I assume Sonny agrees with this. I assume Dave agrees with this. That Cosmos took the more risky, more difficult, and slower choice, which is, IBC is effectively like a TCP IAP implementation, but it does that in a cryptographically secure manner, which is a little bit mind blowing. You have to look at, sorry to get super technical. I know this will go over the heads of a lot of people, but for those who are technical and want to understand, you would want to look at the client update transaction and what its purpose is. Once you understand that, and by the way, it was Jack who taught me this. Once you understand the client update transaction, all of IBC and how it can be secure and how it can be cryptographically secure, the same way that, if I send Martina an encrypted message, that's secure. That's how secure IBC is. It's pretty damn amazing. Because the two chains, that's a very good question. So I don't know the answer to that, man. I've wondered a lot about it, though. I think it's going to be viable in the next 2 months. Could take 6 months. Could take a year. Maybe the answer is no, though. Here's why. So, right now, the DOT token price is greatly, greatly, greatly supported by these slot auctions and by various fees that are paid in DOT. But does it end DOT? Probably not. The reason I say that is the deep mutual respect among the engineering teams. I know for a fact that all of us in Cosmos land respect all of them in DOT land, and I know that that's mutual. The economic design, I don't respect Polkadot economic design. I think it was designed to create a fast pump. I don't think that's right. I'd much prefer the Cosmos way. That's how I ended up here.
Jacob, because I would like to, I know it might be not the most interesting subject for you,
Sure.
but I really want to talk about the wolf contract and the whale as well.
No, we should. So ask questions.
Sorry
I'm
for
going to walk
so
across
I
the
I
room, but
I,
I'm
I
here and
actually
listening.
have the questions and I want you to
Right.
answer them, because the issue I feel still very unsettled by this proposal 16, because there is more of unanswered
If it
things. I
unsettles
think
you, then
that
it's
there.
very good. I must use the restroom. Tell you what, how about you collect questions from people,
Yeah,
and I'll be back in about 3 minutes.
no
Is that
worries,
cool?
no worries.
Yeah.
Just enjoy your time. So, hey people, just share everything about what maybe unsettles you about Prop 16, because I have a lot of things and I want to also, which is not necessarily great, but I would like to focus on also on behavior of wolf contract, that was there, which might be like some people could see this moral as discussing about the third person. But the things that I was presenting here, so the proposal 16 was that we got some new informations. The wolf contract shared on the Twitter. We have the new informations now, but the truth that came out later, that wolf contract had exactly the same level of informations in the proposal number 4 as he had in the proposal number 16, which is the big issue here. Also, I do want to focus on the discussion that was yesterday on Discord, which in fact, for the discussion of the centralized entity as is Juno, was highly censored. I was viewing it, first of all, when the whale tried to speak at first. Someone from the Juno community was downvoting the messages, which is completely fine, but it actually shows how weak some people are and how disrespectful some validators, maybe some people. That's actually just weak. Maybe that was Jacob. I don't know, but it was very weak. Then the whale was asking valid questions, which was not answered. It was like, the whale was asking if that was included in the initial rules, for what the response of the Core 1 team. Indeed, the weather today is unsettling and inflation does touch all of the pockets of people. Like, there was no answer of questions. It's like there was plenty of people in the Core 1 team, and all of this brain power was unable to answer simple yes or no. And my doubt about also, like, maybe it's really good that the Juno network is not the institution, because I can tell you what my personal belief is. If Juno network would be registered institution, there would be enough to open the court case against the Juno network, which would be lost by the Juno. I do believe that with help of the lawyers, the whale would win the case, and potentially maybe he would even amass the larger power than it already had. So I want to focus on the facts and why the Core 1 is so unable to respond for the simple questions. I'm not losing faith, because what's unsettling to me that the majority of the community go with the fragile evidence, and I don't like that. It's maybe the word is this way. Maybe that's democracy, but I don't believe this is the perfect system. And I will be happy to challenge everyone who challenge my point of views, because so far, despite my efforts for the past 5 days, there is no valid points and no one is able to come here to discuss. Well, I hope you are part of the whale. There is no one who has against my thoughts is able to come and give the clear answers. There is always the winding around, which is the major issue here. So people don't really ask questions. They seem they were listening to me, but I will have a lot of questions, and this is like what I want to focus, because I think we go in with mob rule, actually. Also, regarding the whale balls, as the whale showed, they have large balls. The wolf contract would show he has also big balls if the SG1 would voted abstain, but the wolf contract decided to shrink his ball power and voted yes regardless, because he knew exactly the influence that he has over the network and over the people that follow him. That's my opinion.
I don't have a problem with that choice.
So, Jacob, does the wolf contract has the same number
Can you hear me?
Yes, everyone can hear you clear.
Okay.
Oh, actually, there is some questions. So I think but first question. Does it appear that wolf contract has the same level of information at the proposal 4 and at the proposal 16?
No.
He knew who it is, and he knew what they are, that the funds are custodian, which is the two things that we know as of now.
Okay. All right. Actually, I apologize because Prop 4 and Prop 16 probably he did, but at Genesis, I don't think he did.
At
Also,
Genesis, no, yeah,
and-
like
yeah, the opposition to Prop 4 was okay. And guys, I was the depositor on Prop 4, right? And it was Lock Creator's team who said to me, well, hey, you should consider making the deposit on this. Look, I took all the information that I had available to me and I made a choice, and that was to make the deposit and to bring this topic, to vote, right? I also want to say that Cosmos governance is not mob rule. I didn't hear, just so you know, I didn't hear a lot of what you said in the restroom, but what can I say here? Cosmos governance is stake-weighted governance. It, in my opinion, most resembles the form of governance found in a classical corporation. When I say classical corporation, think Dutch 16th century. So like corporations were invented so that groups of people could finance really, really risky things. For example, one of those risky things, and hell, it was corporations early on were used for many unethical things, including slavery, right? So, take slaves to the New World. But let's go a little predating the slavery, okay? We go predating the slavery, corporations were used to finance exploration. Corporations were used to finance risky ventures that even one rich person could not finance on their own. So it was effectively a risk pool. And then I'll say this, something I learned about Islamic finance recently through a friend of mine, goes by the Twitter handle Abu American, who is a devout Muslim and also very he's really, really supportive of polygamy as prescribed in Islam, which, to a lot of people, I figure that's weird. But a lot of respect for this person. What he said to me is that, well, the precept of finance in Islam is people taking risk together. And that's what usury prohibitions are about, is basically, allowing money itself to make money. I don't know, I found that one very interesting, very impactful on my thought as well. So I guess what I'm saying is I do think that Cosmos governance is really powerful and correct and not mob rule, because it's the largest stakeholders having the most say. Whale, hi Whale, if you're here, if you're watching, I'm not sure I would have made the same decision as you to abstain. Also, Martin, I'm not certain that was the ballsy choice. Ballsy choice might have been no. Because a no would have asserted, well, hey, I've done nothing wrong, and also I, happy to participate in governance. Nonetheless, abstain was on some level very, very ballsy.
it was very maybe it was like Japanese are like this because they actually thought they can solve it via discussion, but after the proposal was passed, they realized no one wants to discuss with them.
I thought about this, but we did want to discuss with them. Okay, guys, I did not know Takumi as CCN until 2 or 3 days ago. Okay.
Have you spoke with Takumi before, Juno? Maybe ever had any contact?
But I tried to.
Okay.
I tried to.
Yeah.
Somewhere there's a send transaction from notional to the whale, a tiny amount of Juno. Okay. And, there's a memo where I speak to the whale. The whale must have known it was me who, put the deposit on Prop 4. And I assume that the whale also got and read my memo. Maybe they didn't. Things do get lost in the sands of time.
Yeah.
I get that. I don't get or read every message that I am sent by people. I wish that I could. It's become impossible, especially as the volume of messages that I receive increases. So I believe, and Jack can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm kind of following Jake Hartnell's model of really uncomfortable transparency, but I know that Jack came out strongly against Prop 4, and Jack, he spoke to me about that, and he said, "Well, no, it's a fund. There are lots of people involved." And I said, "Okay, but I'm going to keep my vote on it the way that it is." Because I was acting on the information that I had. Okay.
Yeah.
And the information.
Okay. Did the Wolf contract had the same level of information at the Prop 4 after the whale contacted him as in Prop 16? Because he claimed there is a lot of new informations that he has. It doesn't seem there is. It seems there was
Well, if
exactly
you're
the
only
same.
looking at that conversation between the two of them, then no.
People
But
were
one of the
asking
things-
Wolf. People were asking Wolf, show the proofs.
Sorry,
He said he has proofs.
if we're only looking at the conversation between the two of them, then yes, it was the same level of information. But given that all of us has had to do our own research on this, and I know for sure that every member of Core 1 and every member of Core 2, and hi guys, I'm a member of Core 2, made this decision for themselves and took it seriously and did research on it. I imagine that he did have new information. I imagine that it was more than the whale selling. I also imagine that Wolf Contract was acting in support of the community. So on balance, all right, cool. Well, so on balance, I'm in support. And guys, just everybody makes mistakes. One of Wolf Contract's mistakes here. Right?
I just want to say, the Wolf, according to Wolf Contract words, he did not do anything wrong. 100% good.
Well,
perfection.
Listen. That's not what he said to me. That's not what he said to me.
Wait.
And we all say things wrong too. Perfection? There's no perfection here. Okay. But that doesn't only count for the wolf. That counts for the whale. That counts for me. For example, the whole seed phrase farming thing. When I said that, and guys, I still think it was right to say it. Okay. Because what I chose to do was disclose 100% of the information that I had on the topic. Okay. And that includes information that I wasn't certain about, that came from third parties, and I tagged those third parties in those Twitter posts, and I asked them to provide additional information. If they didn't, that's their own choice. But I know what I saw.
I mean, Wolf Contract said, I have not watched the YouTube clip. Well, he doesn't have to. He knows what's there with the correspondence, because I know I've done nothing wrong. That's
okay. Check it out. In terms of his interactions with the whale, I agree with Wolfie. Okay, the thing that Wolfie did wrong is the not informing the rest of Core 1 about the contract, about the proposal. However, on balance, I voted yes on 16, and I take Notional's governance votes really seriously. I think that it was the right choice.
Mhm.
You know, and like, I don't think that every word in 16 was right. I don't think every claim in 16 was right. But I think the outcome that 16 drove was right. And I think what shows this most clearly, the whale only jumped into the realm of transparency because of 16. There's no other reason that happened.
I mean,
That,
I just want to say the fact that he would take the funds doesn't matter because there was probably no contract between him and investors. And the same if that would Binance or any other exchange, they would take the funds and they have no liabilities. That's why is there, like,
yep.
I understand is this moral is taking away the funds and it's bad and I dislike the whale, it's bad for the community. But I'm just trying to make the facts about the community judging them. You know, and also, how old is Dimi? How old is Dimi?
I don't know.
15?
I don't know Demi's age. What? No, yeah. What? Demi, we're talking about the llama guy, Demi? No. I mean, if I had to guess, Demi's in his 30s.
Okay, good. He's
I don't
holding
know.
well, really well. So there was the question of the whale because I want to go through the Discord. Were such rules in place at the time of the airdrop first? For what Dimi responding, this is the list of excluded exchanges. You should be there, but he's not there. And like, because I tell you, Jacob, I should buy Bitcoin in 2010. Does it mean I should, like, if I tell you I should buy 10,000, no, sorry, I should buy 500,000 Bitcoins in 2010. Does it mean I deserve these Bitcoins now? Because that's the same situation. Because I should buy them.
Okay,
So
right.
that should.
Let's
That should
wait. Fundamental misunderstanding of technology. Cosmos is not Bitcoin and was never intended to be Bitcoin.
No. I'm not comparing.
In fact, because you're thinking about.
I'm saying about the wording should. You should be there. He's not there. And he's
but in
not
Cosmos, we have mechanisms to correct such mistakes. Bitcoin does not. Bitcoin should not. I freaking love Bitcoin. I've built Bitcoin mines with my own bare hands. I've bled on Bitcoin mines. I'm not even joking because there's a lot of sharp metal in there. And like, I am very much in line with the Bitcoin mission. The Cosmos mission is not the Bitcoin mission. You want to know another crazy thing? Most, if not all, of like early Cosmos people, we are all huge Bitcoin fanatics. Jay is, Ethan is. In fact, just about anybody I can think of on that early team.
I spoke with Tobias from SG1. So like, actually, I really like Tobias. It was nice conversation. But
Me
like
too.
and he said like Bitcoin is like really important. So like everyone is probably in Cosmos, everyone is like Bitcoin bull actually. You know,
I wouldn't say everybody. I know
number.
that like Tony Aseri from iClusion hates Bitcoin because of energy consumption. I can see his standpoint. I really can. Okay. At the same time, I think he's wrong, right? But I can see his point of view. He claims, Bitcoin wastes tremendous amounts of electricity coming to consensus. I would change only one word. Bitcoin uses tremendous amounts of electricity coming to consensus. I don't think it's a waste. I actually think it's like one of the best uses of energy possible because, and excuse me if I'm too grand here, okay? But like, I just think that fleets of aircraft carriers and fleets of F-35 jets and all that, soy, yes and no. I'll run you through that real quick, okay? I don't know where the Ethan BTC went to. Actually, it probably did go to the ICF because Tendermint, the company, probably couldn't have taken it. So I think the answer there is yes. I think so. And yeah, it was there was an ETH contract and there was also BTC. And guys, if you look into the initial sale of atoms, guys, that was elegant. That was really well done because they took BTC and they took ETH and it worked. That's not easy. I think the whole thing lasted 17 seconds, by the way. That's the story anyhow. I missed it. And yes, I was there with my wallet trying to get it, but it didn't work, right?
I want to. So the Takumi said once again, was there an explicit rule at the beginning to exclude centralized custodians? And there was no answer.
I think
actually.
yes.
There were like.
I think yes.
So there was okay because
Well, wait.
the Jack and Beanie decided to write this. Yeah,
I know. The bitch of this is what we talked about was centralized exchanges because we didn't want centralized exchanges to take over governance. Okay. And that's what would have happened 100%. Absolutely. I'm certain of that. And this thing that was created by Takumi, which I don't even want to say that I disrespect. Okay. So Takumi did this thing really when Cosmos was at its worst price-wise to support and grow Cosmos in Japan. And Takumi, if you're watching, I want you to know I respect you for that, and I thank you for that. The trouble is the way that Takumi operated that thing, okay? So because it was custodial, look, Martin, there are questions on this. I think there always will be. And I'm going to come down on a hard yes. His operation ought to have been prohibited.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree that his institution is. I don't want to use bad words. I think he was lucky with the fact that the Cosmos pumped and it saved his business model. Because if the Cosmos if we would not enter the bull market, he would end up in the court case. That is the fact, because this business model. Okay, that's that.
I'm
you caught me here. Good, you caught me here.
Law altogether, and I'm a voluntarist when it comes to finance. Okay, so like when I say
he was
I'm a
lucky. He was really lucky with this. That he caught the right moment when he got
we all were.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was. I'll tell you how I started my Cosmos Hub validator. I had enough stake because I was a Tendermint employee and I always asked for my pay in atoms. And it really wasn't all that much. But it was enough to get me into the set there. Okay. And then because I voted with some of that, that's how I became an osmosis validator. Right. So what I'm saying is all of us have been lucky.
No, it's probably to me. Look, I do not like it. It's not.
Patrick,
like
I'm with. What don't you like, Martin?
I don't like. I don't like the fact that there is centralized custodian on June. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I voted no. I just voted no because I think it wasn't done correctly, and that's only one reason.
Then you can vote yes on 17. That's why 17 exists.
We'll see when it comes to life in the final form. But also, the Dini says Proposal 16 was put online because the community sentiment and fear was growing every day.
I'm with you, me on that.
It wasn't really that discussed till the Prop 16 appeared. Maybe it was discussed between the validators, but not the community. So using the word community that's a little
Let me tell you something. I don't even participate in validator chats anymore. They're all on Discord. And what I found was that participating in those was really ineffective. Probably some of the reason of that is that validators to some degree have an economic incentive to attack one another. And like when I talk about the osmosis zone APOC every day, and then I talk about my validator being fastest, well, yeah, I guess that's, playing that game for sure. All right. And I want to say that those red validators, I am coming to attack you. Please know that. Understand it. Fix your validator. Then I won't be able to. I think that the value of my personal Osmo, I'm quite invested. Okay. I think that the value of Notional's Osmo, I think that the value of Osmo generally, and that's a community I strongly believe in, just as much as I believe in the Juno community. Okay. It goes up when the chain is up 24/7. And that requires validators that operate with the appropriate equipment. And yeah, Coinbase Cloud, I am publicly criticizing you. You should disclose who you operate infrastructure for, or eventually there's going to be a Takumi incident. And what do I mean by a Takumi incident? Well, I said that, hey, Takumi, you're civiling the hub. The moment that Takumi disclosed that information, Takumi was no longer civiling the hub.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that's Takumi publicly and privately as well. So, all right, let's roll through the additional whale questions and let's try to cut this off in the next 15. Is that cool?
Was this Prop 16 submitted after discussion and agreed by the Core 1 rather than arbitrary decision by Wolf contract?
Arbitrary decision. Wolfie was wrong, but yo.
And it seems that I'm sorry, but it seems the Demi block creators, Jack, they avoid the answer. Why? They're scared. Like why not to come? Look, that was
okay. Hey, let's talk about a
this is the problem. They think if they're gonna go around and write this long pause, that's so good. Like sounds so good. Just give the answer to the people. Just be transparent with the people. Be transparent with the community.
Hey, that's what Jake Hartnell did. Jake, I don't know Jake all that well, okay? But I'm going to speak directly to Jake for a second. Jake, what you did in that Twitter Spaces chat was unbelievably awesome. Okay, guys, what Jake did is he just straight up disclosed that no, Core 1 didn't agree and deal with it. And guys, look, it sucks, okay? But that is the definite best outcome. What I mean by that is when Core 1 agrees, Core 1 should say that they agree. When they disagree, they should say that they disagree. And even Wolf Contract, who did fuck up here, okay? I just want to say my respect for everybody in Core 1 has grown, and here's why. Let me talk about the hero. The hero of this day is Joe Abbey, okay? Because since Prop 16 came up, Joe Abbey disappeared. Why did he disappear? Because he was fracking making a data model, all right? And he went and he got the data to back decisions. After that, after Joe's little Prop 17 thing, and Joe, and remember, this was Joe. This wasn't Jacob. This was Joe. Putting that on Commonwealth, guys, the unity in the team reached 100%, okay? I don't know of Core 2 members who are disagreeing anymore. I don't know of Core 1 members who are disagreeing anymore. Because Joe did the research, shared the research, and determined what the hell happened here. That's big. And guys, hell, here, I'll continue another practice of mine. You like Notional? You think Notional's great? Please do delegate on Notional. When you do that, please also consider delegating on Joe Abbey. He's good.
Yeah, Joe Abbey is very good. I appreciate the research he's done here. But so as we established that the decision didn't came out from the core one, but we also would agree that we in the Juno collaborate, discuss, make the same decisions. So there is core one, come to the disagreement, and then Wolf contracts selfishly goes out and do his own selfish decision. The decision. I
On
know.
balance, I think
Like
that Wolfie was right.
I'm
And
saying like this.
do we call him a selfish hoe? Was that what the title said? What kind of hoe do we call him? A greedy hoe?
Disloyal hoe.
A disloyal hoe.
Disloyal hoe.
No, I mean, no, I don't think so.
That very disloyal behavior, not only to whale but to community.
All
Depends
of us.
if you want to be loyal to the whale, but yeah.
It's
huge damage of credibility of the team. I must say the credibility was damaged here.
I'm doing the Indian head bob thing.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
Oh wait, yeah, that's right. That means yes, and I mean
yeah.
maybe. Okay. Ah, crap. Now, see, we're having another intercultural difficulty because I call it the Indian head bob thing.
I traveled, Jacob. And I was in Sri Lanka,
Excellent.
and I was like making
That's very
deals.
good.
I was making the deals for the rooms, like is 5,000 a night okay? And the man was like, and we are like, is he not? But then we find out.
Wait. Let's make sure. This means yes, right?
Yeah.
This is yes in India. Yeah. I mean, to me, this yes. Anyway,
yeah.
this means maybe. Anyhow, look, like, no, I don't think he's a disloyal hoe because the way that governance works, right? Any individual holding Juno can make a governance proposal. Any other individual holding Juno can choose to deposit on that governance proposal.
Yes, but the governance stated it was core one. The governance
came
from the core one. It's
he fucked up.
Such a disloyal line. Oh, like come on, that's a fact. Not loyal.
Look,
and
guys,
look,
we have to take everything on balance, okay? And what I mean by on balance is like we have to look at the context. All right, we have to think, okay? And quite frankly, no, I don't think the Wolf's a disloyal hoe. I think that the Wolf made a decision based on the information that he had available to him using his conscience. And that, yeah, he fucked up when he said that it was a core one proposal. But at the same time, like, I do want Wolfie to speak as core one. Okay? Because he's a member of core one.
And I like him speaking. I think he should be available on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely not saying, oh, we should remove Wolfie from core one. I think he's a great member of core one. I also think that a lot of Juno's success. Mike. So this is Minty Banana. And I don't really have a favorite because I think that the favorite was something that I had available in the United States, which was sour. It was lemony. I can't find anything sour here in Hanoi. Yeah, there you
go. Back to Wolf.
Yeah, back to the Wolf.
The fact that he's
not a disloyal hoe, simply making decisions based on his own conscience. Probably shouldn't have said that the proposal came from core one, but look, like even validators who voted no, or even validators who voted no with veto, guys, like I'll highlight Crypto Crew. Okay, Clemens is in the notional Slack chat.
Crypto Crew, by the way, like I read the blog post and I think they've aligned very close with what my opinion was.
So you voted no?
At the end, I voted no with veto.
Excellent. Okay. See, but like I respect that. Okay. So we've created a framework where like we have a wide spectrum of opinions. And me, I even said, and I mean very much, I don't think all the wording in Prop 16 was right. I really only agreed with the outcome, but I agree with the outcome on Prop 4. And even more, because one of the flaws in Prop 16 was it said that the community pool should take possession of the funds. Hell no! The community pool shouldn't take possession of the funds. No. We should nuke them from space. They should never have existed, and they should not enter the community pool.
But like, I also think like if we actually, if the community voice is to bring the rules from the past to the modern day, they also shouldn't go to Japanese investors. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, if you really want to be go with the agenda that this shouldn't be included, you shouldn't reward these people. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like, because that's the, you need to, if you pushes this,
That's right.
pushing this agenda, they don't, this is not their money as well.
Yes, because they had it in a central, in somebody else's possession. Okay, so what I would say to Takumi, and this may hurt Takumi, I'm sorry, is that, like, in fact, that money was yours, Takumi. Okay, but that's kind of the problem.
I agree. He should.
You
like,
see,
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Had Takumi, and no, don't be sorry. Had Takumi at any time gone out and distributed those funds, or even made moves to, or even revealed themselves, I don't know, at the time of Prop 4, or hell, even at the time of Genesis, okay? Because Takumi must have been aware. Takumi does not seem unsophisticated, okay? So he knew that he had those. If I were operating by notional's guiding principle of, is it ethical, right? Well, I would have just tried to start giving that. And guys, I just referred, I think, to Cosmos tokens as money, and they're not, okay? They're vote power, they're stake, okay? And that vote power, had Takumi tried to distribute it from the time of Genesis, we'd be fine. All right, I'd say, Martin, we've got about 3 minutes here. Any other quick ones?
It was good chat. I have nothing against Wolf. Actually, I think that's Wolf was always that confident from your experience, or you think as the Juno got more powerful, the Wolf grew bigger head?
I think that Wolf has played, a marketing role, and that his head was always that big, especially publicly. And I actually think that's been tremendously valuable to Juno. Same with block creators. Like, I want those guys to continue to do exactly what they're doing. With the one thing, oh my God, Patrick, I mean, I'll speak with Marcin anytime. Maybe we should make this a weekly thing. Marcin, you want to make this a weekly thing?
I'd love to. Because this is getting more and more popular, and we've been actually doing this every few days. So weekly would work perfect. There is more subjects actually to talk about, because for sure one day we need to talk about Dig, because I don't fully understand the Dig. I'd love to learn, and the soy, who you always have the
governed by a chain.
So you have the arguments with the soy all the time on the Twitter, and I would do it for him, because he said the Dig is shady. I don't understand the Dig, and that there is for sure more questions to do about it. But I wonder, like, is your pool, or like, does more people delegate to you recently or not? Does this help? Or
I think that this was a net gain. One thing I will say in our last minute here, okay, a lot of notionals delegations come from project teams. And that is absolutely in compensation for services like software development and relaying. If there's community consensus that, like, it's not a civil attack to have 2 validators, I may start a notional light with a 5% fee, so that more retail people can delegate. I also believe that we should charge teams a higher rate. We really do a lot. We have an engineering team of 10 to 15 lately. So I assume you may want the best. Shows gives you a little bit less argumentative, but and the marketing DAO is not sketch, not at all.
What
Marketing
I
DAO
was
is fine.
what I was saying, me, you, Wolf, Soy, Jack Hartnell, actually, despite the different opinions, every one of us wants the best for Juno, and every one of us has different opinion what's the best for Juno, right? So that's
sure
what
that,
it comes.
actually. Like, I mean, I do think that on balance, Jack is in support of nuking the whales account from space. I think that on balance, Wolfie is in support of nuking the whales account from space. On balance, I think you are in support of nuking the whales account from space. The challenge that we had here, well, okay, couple of challenges, and then I'm going to hop off. But like challenges, 1, Prop 4 failed. 2, team members came out against Prop 4. 3, Wolf did not get, the full information or the full consent of Core 1 before posting that gov prop. But I don't think that it's a problem or we should be against Wolf, generally speaking, for, bringing that up. And I'm going to run now, but I definitely want to thank the audience, especially anybody who's sat through the whole 91 minutes. And I guess we're going to make this a weekly thing. I'd love it if people were to bring, their most difficult and controversial questions about Cosmos to this show. I'm really happy to discuss them.
Like very different opinions. That's important. So Jacob, few people ghosted me, but you actually never ghosted me. You're always very happy to come on the show, and this is what I'm really happy about. Because
that's cool, man.
Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
That was a great talk. Great talk. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
bye
bye to
See you
everyone.
guys.